In today's mastery session, I'm talking about overcoming fear. And admittedly, I had a little fear even doing this session because originally this was designed to be a live session on Facebook that I was just going to re-record and put it on here for you to see. But that ended up being a bust. So I am re-recording this mastery session on overcoming fear. So this is going to be a longer session today where I'm going to show you a presentation that I normally do for groups and clients, and I'm going to give you a challenge of the week that's really going to help you overcome the blocks that have been bothering you and stopping you from being at your ultimate potential in business and relationships. So grab a pen and paper and let's get into it. Hey, what's up, fam? Camille Rose here, founder of The Ultimate Life, peak performance coach to entrepreneurs and leaders, and I'm a member of the Forbes Coaches Council. And this is your Monday Mastery Minute, where every Monday I take a few minutes to show you how you can achieve mastery in your business and your personal life. So let's jump right into it. So welcome back to your mastery session on overcoming fear. So as I mentioned, this is going to be a little bit different than your usual Monday Mastery Minute because this is a topic that I get asked over and over and over again is, Camille, why am I not doing the things I know I'm supposed to be doing? Or why am I procrastinating? Or why do I keep hitting this wall and going back to this same thing? So I want to take just a little bit more time for this mastery session on overcoming fear. And I want you to grab a pen and paper because this is going to be a very brief run through on a training session that I typically will do with a group or a private client. And I just wanted to give you a glimpse into some exercises that I think could really help you since I get this question so much. So follow along. And let's get into it. So don't worry too much about the presentation itself. I can certainly send you this deck. And if you want me to send you this deck, go ahead and email coaching@theultimatelife.com and then put in the subject overcoming fear. And I'll send you a copy of this deck so you get all the questions and the exercises that I put in here. And I really just want you to be fully present to take notes and then write down anything that resonates with you from today's session. So something I always talk about is the Triad of Mastery. And what this really is that there are three keys if you want lasting transformation in any part of your life. So if right now you're telling me you've got some fear or frustration around business, around money, around a relationship, about a difficult conversation you have to have, I want you to look at three things. And it's always these three things that are key to either overcoming and creating lasting transformation. Number one is your mindset. This is your perspective, your story, and the words you use. So what that means really is that I can tell what your mindset is about a particular area of your life based off the language you're consistently using. So words tell me a lot about how you think. So I want you to ask yourself, what is my story about this situation right now? What assumptions am I making about my spouse? What assumptions am I making about my client? What assumptions am I making about people? Because nothing has meaning except for the meaning that you give it. So what meaning are you giving this situation? And know that you can change those meanings at any time, at any point in time. Second thing, I want you to look at your actual habits. So what are the habits, rituals, and commitments? And when I say commitments, what's actually on your calendar? What gets placed on the Google Calendar on a week in and week out basis that show me what you're doing about this thing? And then the last one that's key that not too many folks talk about, and I think is one of the most important tools. You must have all three. And I think this is the one that doesn't get talked about enough and should, is your environment. Who are the people around you that are holding you accountable to living at a higher level in this area? What does your success squad look like for your business? Who's your focus family? It's another term for your relationship. Who's helping you with your health, fitness, and your goals when it comes to money? You have to have a really strong success squad. And there are so many groups, communities, tribes, masterminds that you can join if you don't feel like you have people in your physical environment. But I would challenge you to start rigging your environment for success. And that includes the people, the physical spaces, so what your desk looks like, for example, who you're in physical proximity with, who you're actually hanging out with. You should never be the smartest person in the room. That's another good growth hack right there. And when I say podcast, what I'm really talking about here is anything that you consume: podcasts, articles, and books. So you're always looking at these three things. So I like this quote from Horace: rule your mind or it will rule you. So I want you to really think about, when it comes to fear, it's up to you to start shifting this story around the situation. Otherwise, it's consuming you. So fear, we've heard of the acronym, is false evidence appearing real, FEAR. And whenever I work with somebody, I'm going to start challenging them that when they feel the fear rise up, the old story, the old attachment, FEAR now stands for face everything and rise. Whereas before, false evidence appearing real, that's true, right? We can have a false story and it feels very real to us, but this is a noun. As a peak performance coach, I'm looking at your performance moving forward. So I wanted to go into a verb. So this is now an action-based acronym that tells me when you feel the fear, honey, we got to start looking at it and figuring out what are these common patterns in this particular area of your life. Now notice it's face it, and then we rise above it. And one of the fastest ways to rise above any sort of fear is to get in community with a really supportive group of people and to work directly with a trained professional, whether that be a therapist, a counselor, a certified coach. Having that sense of accountability and investment in yourself will push you further, faster, and in the right direction. So fear now stands for face everything and rise. So I want you to engage in this quick exercise. And again, I'm going to breeze through this, but you can pause this at any point in time. Or again, if you want to email me at coaching@theultimatelife.com, I will send you this deck. But for the sake of a coaching exercise, I want you to write down, what are you most worried or anxious about right now? In this moment, maybe you have a story about how you're not doing good enough. Maybe you have a story about money. Maybe you have a worry about my next commission. Like, I don't know which client deal is actually going to land. I've got all these listings, but I don't know if I'm actually going to close the deal. Whatever that is, write that down. And then directly after that, I want you to ask yourself, but now, what are you absolutely confident about? What are you absolutely certain about in your life? Now, that could be, Camille, I'm certain that I will always find a way. I'm confident in my abilities to get things done. I am certain about my faith in God. I'm confident that God will provide a way. I'm absolutely certain that my love for my family, number one on the list. I do everything for them. I'm absolutely confident that I can make things happen when it comes to them. I'm absolutely confident in my ability to take a photo, to have a conversation with a client, to network with somebody, to speak on a stage. Whatever that is, tell me, what are you absolutely confident and certain about? And this is really key, really, really key, that you can show me what you're anxious about. And then tell me also what you're absolutely certain and confident about. And if you feel really stuck here where you're like, Camille, I don't know, go ahead and comment below wherever you're watching this, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and then just ask me the question you've been wanting to ask me, and I'll get back to you on that. The next thing, once you've identified the fear, there's something that I like to call as focus and flex. Now, you want to flex the muscle that you want to grow. Many of us have been flexing the muscle of fear in this particular area. So you've got a story you tell yourself over and over and over again, a generalization about relationships, a generalization about business, a generalization about clients. I want you to get rid of that story, especially if it's not serving you. Because where focus goes, energy flows, as you may have heard before. So I say focus creates flow. Wherever your focus is going, that's where your energy is flowing. So now I want you to also, when you have time, pause this video, answer these questions and tell me, now, what is your new focus with this thing that you were anxious about before? And I want you to write down 3 ways that you can practice this new focus and perspective every day. So for example, if your new focus with money was your big anxiety point. Before, your focus was, I don't know when the next commission check is going to come. So my new focus with money is, and I want you to connect it to what you're absolutely certain about. Here's the trick here. So if you were absolutely certain about your love for your family, then your new focus with money is that I will always find a way when I remember it's for my family. So now instead of focusing on, I don't know where the money's going to come from, I don't know where the money's going to come from, the new focus is, I will be resourceful and creative enough to find a way because I will do this for my family. I'll do whatever it takes to get them to this level or to take us here. You have to start rewriting the story of anxiety, the fear, with the place in you that you're absolutely certain about. So another one could be, let's say your anxious place was about this relationship you're in. You know, my new focus with my marriage, with my wife, with my husband, is that God has a path for us. If you're absolutely certain about your faith, that God always has a plan and his plan is to prosper you, her plan is to get you to the ultimate potential of your life, then can you trust your faith? Can you trust your God to guide this process that you're in? And the action steps is how you flex this muscle. So when I say the 3 ways you'll practice it, you know, who are you going to be telling about this new focus of yours so they can hold you accountable? Maybe you're going to write this new phrase and place it somewhere so that you can see it day in and day out. This is the flexing of the muscle. Consider it us going to the gym or picking out a new weight, a new exercise, because the old one wasn't working for you. And we're going to start flexing this over and over. So what are ways you can flex? Basically what I'm saying is, really reiterate this statement or this belief system over and over and over again. How can you keep it in front of you? How can you hold yourself accountable to somebody? How can you put it on your calendar and commit to it fully? So you got to focus and flex the new belief. And then finally, you got to rig your environment for success. So this is the proximity is power. Your focus family. So who do you know that you should be listening to? Who should you be around more often? Who should you be texting more often when it comes to money mindset? When it comes to health and fitness? When it comes to your relationship? That area that you want to get better in. Just give me 3. So if your success squad comprises of 5, at least give me a focus family of 3 people. And if you're like, Camille, I still don't know anyone in my physical environment, YouTube. Tell me the best motivational speaker, a book you really like on this particular topic, and listen to that person over and over, whoever resonates with you. Resonance is big. And what I mean by resonance is the person, place, or thing that you can feel your whole body fill up with. So who are you in proximity with to keep rigging your environment for success in this particular area? The main thing I want to drive home here is that in order for you to hear your own wisdom, and you hear me talk about it over and over again, is power in the pause. You must schedule stillness in order to get more clarity on what these fears are. So even this moment that you're spending right now to watch this video is part of your stillness. And I appreciate that. I'm glad you're here doing the work. I appreciate you for it. I'm going to encourage you to now spend even a few more minutes after this to really dive deep into these questions. And even if it's 5 minutes, do some reflection time, because this is when your own inner wisdom starts to really download and you can get this on paper. Because I can only coach you so far. You know, your counselor, your therapist, your accountability partners, they're all going to give you different pieces of advice. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what feels right for you. And you can only do that when you get still and you have some time just for you. So my challenge of the week for you is this. When you feel the fear, that FEAR come up, that tightness, like, Camille, I don't know about the situation again, I want you to pause, do something called the 4-4-4 breath, which is in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. And once you've done that breath, I want you to ask yourself, how would love respond in this situation? How would faith respond in this situation? Because we're only ever making our decisions from fear or faith, fear or love. And then you can start to do these exercises to get even more clarity and reinforce the muscle you really want to flex with this particular area of your life. So again, you feel the fear, pause, in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, then ask, How would love respond in this situation? How would faith respond in this situation? And pay attention to that. So that is your challenge for the week. Thank you again for your patience with me this week as I get through all my technical difficulties. And as always, if you found a ton of value, please share this with at least 3 people who want to overcome fear in their life. Pay it forward. Know that I appreciate you. And until next week, keep leading from love.